Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Godfather discussion show. Let's stop that for a second here. We don't need that.
Yeah.
How we doing today, guys?
Excellent. This is going to be a great one. This nut. Look at him. This is an incredible scene that we're going to tap into. What a scene this is! Wow. I just want to make a note real quick. Octavia sends her best to everybody. She just sent me an email. She wanted to say ALV, have a good show, and you guys have a good show. And she says hello to everybody in the chat. She can't log on. She is listening.
Okay. Thank you. Very good.
And TT's supposed to be getting out tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Well,
excellent.
Good thing.
Excellent.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks for everyone for joining us. I think Tommy's right. I think this is a great scene, and it's also a very important one because it sets up and it kicks back to the Godfather 1. It does a lot of things, and this scene is kind of short. So what we'll do is we're going to do this, and then we're going to go into the first scene of Vito in 1917 in New York, which is great. I mean, that's just an awesome part of the movie, especially the old scenery and how everything is acting. It's so realistic. It really makes the movie.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I'm going to just say hello to those in the chat. Hello, Vinny Bracco. Good to see you, my friend. Steve Morinello, El Toro, Maureen, Paul C, Down Neck, Dave from Boston.
Nice.
Let's say who else is here. I saw Salvatore. And I think that's all for now. But thank you all for joining, and I hope you participate. Our best shows are when you guys participate in the chat, put your comments in, and we'll try to address them and raise them so everyone else can see them as well.
Beautiful.
So where we left off last time, it was the end of the communion party, and Michael was returning to his bedroom. And Kay is in bed, and he finds a little drawing that his son Anthony made for him, and they're talking about the drawing. And he casually turns to the windows, and Kay asks him a question: why are the drapes open? And just as he looks out the window, the machine guns go off, and it's an attempt to kill him. Now, a couple of things I've noticed about this scene is, and you guys tell me if you disagree. Hi, Joey Pope. Good to see you. I think that demonstrates what happened in that bedroom with the way those shots were fired. It looked amateuristic to me in the sense that this was not someone with an expert assassin. It was just random guys they got to try to kill him. What do you think about that? Like, there was no precision here. It's just kind of like a street shooting, just a drive-by almost type of behavior.
Well, that's what a machine gun, you have no control. It's just spray everything. Tommy gun, machine gun, you're just spraying. Mm-hmm. So that's basically why it looks amateur. It wasn't gunshots, boom, 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 right, which would be, you have to be skilled hitman like a Clemenza type or something like that, a Luca Brasi. But otherwise, you're just spraying the place, and hopefully you get the target. That's what machine gun does.
Mm-hmm.
No, basically,
yeah,
it was an attempt, and it was a lame attempt, only because it was from outside. They had two guys. They were loyal. They cut their throats. They found them dead. So that just goes to show you right there. They were two loyal guys either way. They didn't know if he died or if he lived. But either way, they knew they had to do this after that hit.
Yeah.
And they did. They
I
killed themselves. You remember what Michael said? Rocco, I want him alive.
Oh, yeah. Well, that wasn't going to happen.
You could torture him. You could torture him and, get out.
They want to find out. They're going to get information out of him, but unfortunately. And Michael actually says that to Tom when he meets with him and says, unless I'm very wrong, they're already dead. Now, and here's a key thing that he says about that, though. Killed by someone very close to us. That's what Michael says to Tom. killed by someone very close to us. Now, this is before he even sees the body. Before he even sees the body. It's just with him and Michael, him and Tom talking. But now now here's the key part, though. Think about this: the drapes are open, which means someone went into that bedroom and opened those drapes before the assassination took place. Was that Fredo? What do you think?
Fredo.
Wait,
Fredo.
hold on. Remember,
there you go, Anthony. You hit the nail right on the head.
It's hard to say. Listen, because they may have gotten to staff. They may have gotten to staff to do it. Fredo's not going to go up in the bedroom. He's not going to risk it. He would never be in that bedroom. Staff, cleaning staff, somebody like
why
that.
it wasn't staff? If they could have got to the staff, that killer would have been in the house.
I think there's more people involved than we know.
Remember that. It had to be Fredo or somebody like, Fredo could have walked in there.
Vinny's saying he thinks it was a waiter. He thinks he could have been a waiter at the party.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Someone.
Right.
So remember this. Fredo's not that intelligent. Who's going to trust him with a task like that? Who's going to trust him with a task like that? So think about that first.
No. I'm not talking about I'm talking about Fredo knew about it because Michael, as it comes out, Michael blamed Fredo for that hit.
The drapes only, I would say they got to staff. Cleaning staff, cooking staff, something like that. Somebody that can go in the room regularly that wouldn't look out of the norm.
Here's a C note. Make sure the drapes are open tonight. Yeah. Something simple as that. Something just very simple.
Yeah, but who gave that order?
It's too bad, and I say it all the time. It's too bad there's not a book. This would have been a great book.
Who gave the order to shut the drapes? Who gave the order with the 100 in their hand?
Yeah, right.
That's another good question.
Right. These are questions, and that's why I'm raising them because the answers aren't there. The answers are not in the movie at all.
They never came out. You're right.
But it could, look. And here's the thing with Fredo. We find out later that Fredo was the traitor. And now, what was Fredo's part, though? That's my question. We don't get to hear that either. What exactly Fredo did? Did he let the assassins onto the estate? I don't know. We don't know what Fredo actually did.
We don't know what Fredo was. Did Fredo wait? Did Fredo tell him where to go? What room it was? What this? What that?
Hold on a minute. Maybe I missed something. Do we know if Fredo was a betrayer when it came to the assassination attempt, or only in business? We do.
Here's why. No, here's why. Because there's later on, and it's farther on in the movie. Fredo gets a call.
I don't want to go too far, but
but that answers that would answer that question.
Answer it briefly. I don't want to go into other scenes.
Yeah, it's just he gets a call and he says, "You guys lied to me." When Johnny Ola calls him,
yes.
He says, "You guys lied to me." Yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Definitely.
When you brought up staff, now it's hitting Thenu in the head more.
Okay. Yeah.
You know why? You said staff. I couldn't wrap my head around it, but I just wrapped my head around Gloria Olarte telling the feds where Castellano held all his meetings.
So staff could be a possibility.
Oh yeah, wasn't she his maid?
I'm sorry. Yeah, nowadays, if you look deep enough, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Big Bones, welcome, Big Bones, welcome, Arms, welcome, Andrea. Thanks.
The beauty of what we're doing is we speak out loud, we speak what we think, and we come up with the best possible solution to an incredible scene.
That's what we're doing. This is a teardown of The Godfather from
beautiful.
So what can I tell you? That's what we're doing.
That's what I think. That's
we're doing something nobody else ever did.
No,
I never seen anybody break The Godfather down and, hey, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? I never seen anybody do this.
As long as I don't curse, we'll do great. I'm gonna try.
Oh, you know what?
I'm gonna try.
You're the biggest mush.
You had to bring it up, Tommy.
You had to bring it up. Yeah.
Well, I'm guilty. I'm not curse.
Okay, so here's my next issue or question. So they're dead. They find them dead. They find the assassins dead. And the only thing we learn there is that they're not from the area. They're probably from New York. That's what Rocco says. Rocco says, I've never seen them before. Somebody probably brought them in from New York. So from that angle, it could that statement, and I just thought about this, that statement there could link back to Roth's ultimate plan, which was to link the assassination to Pantangeli.
Yeah.
If the assassins are from New York, it's a plausible link to Pantangeli.
That's a good observation.
What
about the brothers that Pantangeli was talking about killing?
The Dahlias?
Rosado brothers?
The Rosado brothers.
Yeah.
They were from New York.
Yeah.
They might have done this to set Pantangeli up also. Not only kill Michael, but also set up Pantangeli for the repercussions. If Michael gets slain, who's left behind is Tom. They're going to go after the Rosado brothers.
Yeah.
Rosados.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go after Pantangeli, but made it look like they're going to go. But the Rosado brothers make it look like it's Pantangeli. That's also a possibility. See, unfortunately, we don't know. And this is why this conversation is great.
Hi, Todd Father. Thank you for joining. Noel, good to see you. Okay, so let's move on to the next very, very important scene, back to where we started to touch on, which was Michael having that private meeting with Tom. And Michael's just come from the assassination attempt. He's disheveled. Tom is out of bed. He's in his robe, and he sits him down, and he has a very heart-to-heart conversation with Tom, and basically unveils to him that, in essence, he knew this was going to happen. He knew this, and this also harkens back to the Godfather, which Vito actually knew something like this would happen in the future, and that was the onus for him telling Mike, get Tom out of the family business, keep him clean so that he could step in at a point when you need him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just monumental forward thinking. It's like it's like 8 moves ahead in a chess match to think about something like that.
So that's interesting observation. That is very interesting. Wow.
And some of the conversation between the two of them is telling too, because Michael says to him, I admire and I love you. That's why I did this. I admire, which he may, but that's the real reason is because he needed him to be in a position to take over. And he says it, you're the only one I can completely trust. And why is that? Because he's been out of the family business. So he's the only one that could be trusted.
Comes in with a fresh business mind.
No, and the Godfather tells you, you know how they're going to come after you, right? And he warned them, like you said.
All right, baby. 24 up in here. Let's go. Build this up, guys. So that's interesting.
And Tom's response to him is also interesting. It says a lot about Tom.
They said Vinny wants to link. Big Bones just said Vinny wants to link.
No, the link is pinned in the chat.
I don't know.
I mean, the link is there. I don't. Anyway, what was I saying? Vinny,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. My train of thought here was that. So he puts. So so this is my point. This scene shows a lot of Tom's character, in the sense that he says to Michael, and it's a very telling part of his character. He says, I always wanted to be thought of as a real brother by you. And I take that as being a very honest feeling from him, from the character. There's no playing games at that point. Tom is touched by that Michael is coming to him and turning everything over to him, not because he wants power, but because he feels he feels it as the trust and the affection of a brother. That's, to me, is a very important view into Tom and the character that is Tom, because as we know from the very beginning, he was always looking for a family. His family had died. He was brought into the family as an orphan by Sonny, loved Sonny, wanted to be ingratiated by Vito, and now there was always some distance between him and Michael. Now he feels that it's closing, and they're becoming brothers. They're becoming real brothers. So this harkens back to what we originally learned about Tom. Hey, Vinny.
Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon, guys. Hey, Chad. I just wanted to say a thing that maybe I was curious if you thought about this. I think in the book, Tom found out during that period or a little before that Rocco and Al Neri were personal hitmen for Michael, because on the books he saw they were making a lot more money. And I think that when Michael saw that Tom knew all that, he kind of knows everything now. And I think that's why, and I think Hyman Roth invited him down to Cuba. There was an alternate plan. He would have always had an alternate plan to kill Michael.
Yep.
He was too smart. So I think when the first one failed, I think he probably promised the Rosado brothers New York, Roth. And Patangeli ran New York. Patangeli actually was Clemenza's character, you know. Clemenza, a week before, wanted a screenwriter that he knew to do his lines. Coppola said no. Patangeli was Clemenza. They just had to change the name. Because why would Patangeli get Don Corleone's house? It didn't make sense. It was Clemenza who would take over the house. So I think Clemenza was legit. I don't think he sold Michael out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. Yeah, that's why Patangeli was created. But I think it's a great character. It was a great character that was created.
Great. A little louder than Clemenza, actually.
Yeah.
Right? A little louder. But but I think that I think Michael was so deadly. That was Rocco's job security. And I think that's why he sent him on the suicide mission for Hyman Roth. Right. I believe that he knew that Rocco wasn't really responsible, but he had to take responsibility. Look, he killed his own brother for saying too much, and he didn't know it was a hit, I don't believe, Fredo. So why would Rocco, who's an outsider, why would you do that? I think he said, oh, listen, I believe you didn't mean it. You're going to hit Hyman Roth. You get out of it. You paid your debt. Because he knew that was a suicide. There were 5 cops around him. Federal agents. How could he do it without getting killed? And I think
the airport.
Yes. I think Rocco, that was a suicide mission. I think he felt, you proved to me you're loyal. Just like Al Neri did when he hit that Lucchese in Godfather 3. Another suicide mission. That these guys, Michael, for some reason, you had to prove to him, for whatever reason. But I just wanted to say that and see what you thought.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that we talked about this before, that Michael is by far the most ruthless. And because of that, he wasn't swayed by emotions at all. The Godfather himself was swayed by emotions. You saw that in his character. But Michael,
more of a family man, more of a
all
family
business. Michael was all business until Godfather 3, I think. Until Godfather 3, but it was all business, his life.
I think that's why in Godfather 3, he said, I learned a lot from my father. I think he learned that he had to really be more like his father. And I think he just felt he had to save the family. And then he regretted. I guess when you kill your brother, it must be.
Oh,
it's awful.
And he lost everything because of it. But I just wanted to pop on and say hello. Happy Sunday. Thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, sure. No, thank you, Vinny.
Sopranos tonight. If you guys are welcome to come on for the Sopranos show tonight. Take care, brother.
You bet. Take care.
Take care.
All right. All right. So now before Michael, after the discussion with Tom, Michael goes and meets with his son in bed. His son is in bed. And this is because he's going away. And we'll find out more later on. But he's going away. And the conversation with his son is very interesting, because when you think about where the evolution of his son, which we don't see a lot of, obviously, but his son at that particular time says to him, I can help you. And Michael says, someday you will help me, or someday you can help me, not now.
Yeah.
The son we see in Godfather 3 is completely different. He wants nothing to do with him, basically.
Right.
He resents him. He has, and I don't know. I guess that's.
You know what? Well, your Godfather 3 was 1990, right?
Long time ago, yeah.
Well, this is what Dean Du's saying. Look at the year That came out, and look at the year that was happening around this world at that time in 1989 and 90. That Godfather 3 wasn't that off in reality of the life itself.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me a
Yeah.
little bit, Anthony? Like 1990, when that movie came out, it was Godfather 3, part 3 of a saga.
Right.
But in reality, it was 1989-90 when that came out. That was like the chapter of the end of everything. 1990.
Yeah.
To me, it was.
Yeah.
It was
No,
over.
I hear what you're saying
But,
in terms
yeah,
of it reflecting real life. It's reflecting certain things.
and Michael was in the perfect bam. You know, it was 1990. That movie came out, and that was like the general of everything going on in the world at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Think about it. You know, Michael realizing everything and trying to do the right thing and doing this and doing that. And look what was happening too in the world at that time that year.
Yeah.
Rat infests, insane, and craziness. But
Mm-hmm.
think about it. It was just
absolutely.
like a clash. Godfather 3 and life were like this at that time. Bam.
Yeah.
Michael showing the regrets of that life, just everything. That final, the final scene there, it just told you everything.
Oh yeah. Tragedy. It was like Godfather 3 was a Shakespearean type of thing. It was like
that was it for Michael.
tragedy for everybody.
Right. That was it for him. That was it.
Yeah.
They don't show. They show him dying, but
yeah.
That was his death.
All right. So then, Michael leaves, and now the movie switches back to 1917 with Vito in New York City, and he's married and he has Santino as a baby. That's the family. That's the Corleone family at that particular time. And he's working in a grocery, and the grocery that he works for is the Abondando family grocery, which is the family that adopted him when he came to America as a child at 9 years old. So he owes everything to them. That without him, he probably would have been dead. He would have been in the streets dead. But this family took him in and treat him like a son. And he's working there, and he makes enough money to have have an apartment and have a wife and a child. Yeah. But we see that's going to change. So basically Vito is on, even where he came from, which was a life where his entire family is wiped out by the Black Hand, by the mafia. He was going on a straight and narrow in America. He was working in a grocery store, blah, blah, blah. That's it. He was going to just be a normal person, right?
Yeah. Until the Black Hand.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So, and the thing that strikes me about this whole scene is the authenticity of it. And the way New York City looks. And if you ever have a chance to look, they have some of these old photos, these black and white films. They're silent films of just people riding through the city. And it looks exactly like that. They must have used those films to develop the scene, because it looks identical to what it looked like then.
Right.
And they go to a play, right? They go to a play. That's where you see him working there, and he's going to a play with a friend of his who is it's his friend, but it's the son of the grocer who he grew up with there. And the play, it's so interesting to me. The center of the play is the Statue of Liberty. It's the main thing. And it just shows and demonstrates how at that particular time, that was everything to the Italian immigrant. It represented everything. It represented opportunity. It represented a new life. It was everything to the Italian immigrant.
Yep. Freedom.
Freedom, yeah. Exactly. Freedom, survival, all these things that it represented, that they ran away from, and they found this. It was an opening. It was something to come to be. Now, this is the thing that I think I want to bring up or make about this whole scene is the importance of this scene in the theater. So his girlfriend, the guy's girlfriend, is playing in the play. She's in the play. And then at one point, someone stands up in front of them And who is that? Who's that
Black
stands
Hand.
up and
It was a Black Hand.
Fanucci.
Don Fanucci. Don
Yeah.
Fanucci, the
Hey,
Black Hand.
Anthony, first of all, I just want to say that was Tessio. Don Vito was with at that play. That was Tessio.
No, that's Abandano. That's the son. That's the son of the grocer.
Grocery
That's
store.
Yeah. He meets Tessio later. He meets Tessio through Clemenza.
Clemenza is the first link to all his friends.
Yeah.
When they go steal the rug.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
refresh me. Okay.
Mhm.
Good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the Fanucci stands up.
Fanucci
Fanucci,
stands up,
right.
and the guy and and Abandano says, "Hey, sit down." Blah blah blah. And he just looks at him and he says, "Oh, scoozy," because he's afraid of him, right?
Yeah.
And then he just walks out. And then the next scene is they go backstage to meet the woman, to meet the girl, and they find Fanucci there, shaking down the owner of the theater, who is who's the father of the girlfriend.
Right.
So this is and I think I found a picture of this scene here, and I want to show if I can pull it up. Where is it? Boy, see, all the things don't show up here. Here it is. Let's see if this works. You see that?
Yeah, right there.
It's kind of dark, but
Yeah.
this is
dark in the movie. It's a dark.
Yeah, this
scene.
is the owner. This is the owner here, and this is Fanucci, and he grabs the daughter and he puts a knife to her throat because he wasn't paying his extortion money. He wasn't paying. So the guy says, I don't know what his name was, but he says, "Here, take all my money." And Fanucci says, "No. He only takes what he's owed." So he takes what he says he's owed, right? So there's this whole code he's trying to work into this. He's trying to work it. Like if he was just robbing him, he would take all the money. But no, he's trying to work in a code where he has authority. He's going to be justified. He's only going to take the money that he's owed for protection. So and it demonstrates the power of the Black Hand in the immigrant community. And Vito says to the friend there, "Who is this guy?" And he goes, "It's Don Fanucci, the Black Hand." And he says, "Is he Italian?" He says, "Yeah, he's Italian." He goes, "Why does he do this to other Italians?"
Right.
And Abandano says, "Because they have no protection. They have no protection. He can take advantage of them." And that to me is a major part of the Italian immigrant experience. They couldn't go to the police. They couldn't go to the authorities. No one would protect them. So it left them open to be taken advantage of by evil people among themselves. This is just a guy, and we find out later that he's full of shit, quite frankly, because he doesn't even have a mob or he doesn't have a gang. It's just him. It's just him.
Yeah.
And he's shaking all these poor immigrants down so that he could live well over them. And it's an interesting, to me, it's an interesting introspective into the immigrant experience in America, how they couldn't go to authorities because authorities didn't care about them. They were just there to be used.
And God forbid they did go to the authorities, ALV, what would happen?
But hold on. You got to take that back to Sicily. They did not trust the authorities. That's where this all started.
Well,
so in Sicily, of course, obviously, the mafia was started because of the lack of confidence in the authorities. There was no confidence in the authorities. Everybody was against the Sicilians being conquered so many times, and they had no trust for authority. None at all.
But there was two narratives there. It was that, and it was if you went to the cops, you were a rat and you would have got killed anyways.
That wasn't even an option. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But think about it. This is what I'm getting at. What you say is absolutely true. But what I'm saying is that the Irish and Anglo authorities didn't give a crap about Italians.
No, they
wouldn't help them anyway.
Right.
They were just
as bad. They were just as bad as who was conquering them in Sicily.
Yeah.
Just as bad.
Right.
Okay, you walk into a police station back then with broken English, this and that. This is what the cops do to you.
You're done.
Would you say greaseball? Yeah, okay. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Two things I want to add.
Exactly what they did to you.
Before we go forward. Now, Vito sees two aspects of this horrible man. The loss of his job, which we spoke about already, right?
Oh, we didn't. That didn't happen yet, but you're right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But there's the two things. There's loss of the job. So there's two. So this is the start of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the start of Vito's clear vision as to what's really going on, right? This is the first part, and then we go to the second part.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts to get the taste of he needs to step up just from witnessing that.
Right.
And then we move forward.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah. So it's
Tindu,
interesting.
you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
You're muted, Tindu. There you go.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
these plugs real fast. Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting. Great
Yeah,
scene.
no, you're absolutely right, Tom, because it's these experiences are opening his eyes to what needs to be done to survive, basically. So Fanucci, then so the next scene is well, first I think let me see something. I wrote this
So
down because
how
I
far
didn't
are we
remember the
going now,
order.
Ant? We can see the problem with this movie. It goes scene to scene to scene so quick. It's very difficult to separate.
Hey guys,
Um,
just tell me if you could hear me when I plug
Yeah,
these in.
perfect.
I just got them.
Perfect.
I know if you could hear me.
Perfect. Now,
yeah, I can hear you. Now,
Can you hear
can you
me
hear
now?
us?
yes,
I could hear
perfect.
Nice.
you guys. You could hear me
That's
with the microphone.
Better.
I've had these put in my drawer for years. I've never
They're
used
good.
these once
Sound
till
good.
right now.
You sound perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay, I'm gonna go back.
That's good. No
Good.
background noise. That's nice.
Nothing. Perfect. Now
Well,
we
what we're
can't
going to
hear
do
you.
is we're going to go to the end of this 1917, the first 1917 scene, which
Okay.
is what's going on here, and it ends when Santino, they put Santino on the rug. That's when that scene ends. So we're going to go through that, and then because then it
Okay.
switches back to 1956 or
Okay, good.
59. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
So so the next thing that happens is, this is what happens next. Vito meets Clemenza. And how does he meet Clemenza? Clemenza is just someone that lives in the same tenement house that he does. And he's sitting down to dinner with his wife, and then he hears a tapping on the window, throwing at the window, and he hears someone saying, hey, you speak Italian. And he goes to the window, and it's Clemenza. And Clemenza, all he says to him is, he throws him a bag and says, hide this for me. Now, I don't know about you, but if I got something thrown at me with a bag, I don't know what I would do at that point. I don't know. I would just be, I don't know. I would just be a little hesitant to take the bag, but he takes it. He takes the bag. And now this is an interesting part here. What happens? He takes the bag, he takes it into the bed, or he's in the bathroom, and he closes the door. He doesn't tell his wife anything. He immediately cuts her out. Regardless of what this is, he doesn't want her involved in it at all. Nothing. I mean, and that shows the culture there too, that the wife and the family needs to be kept out of it. This is a man's world. This is what I have to deal with. Keep her out of it. And he opens the bag, and there's guns in there. Clemenza had asked him to hide guns. Toro says muted. What's muted, Toro? I'm sorry.
Who's muted?
Oh, you can't hear us? Give us
What
a
do you
thumbs
mean?
up if you can hear us.
Who's muted? I can hear Anthony perfect.
Yeah.
I can't hear Tindu.
Oh, Thindu, we don't hear you, Thindu. If you're
He messed up his
speaking,
settings when he plugged in the microphone.
Now you're
muted
muted.
again. So you got to go to your audio output in your settings now in your computer. Once you did that, it switched you over to a different thing. You're not in your computer's default settings right now. So you have to go into sound settings and pick your output as Real Tech it's called.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know this stuff now. I learned it all, man. You can't. I got it all down pat now.
You should have
He's
never
frozen.
taken. You should never put those earbuds in.
How's that?
Beautiful.
You're back.
Did
Excellent.
you do what I said? You went into your output?
Yeah, I went right in there. Now it's lower though. How come?
No, you're good. You're
No,
good.
it's
You're
fine.
good.
It's fine.
Yeah, but you guys are low.
Okay, that's another story. You're good. You can hear us?
I could hardly hear you.
That's your
You got to
Now,
raise
your
your
volume
volume
is
on your
on the right.
laptop. Laptop
Listen,
I
volume.
did.
Go to the bottom right, click on the speaker thing, and drag your mouse to the right or whatever you have. Okay? You hear me?
Yeah, here we go. I got it. Okay.
Hey, buddy?
I could hear you good.
I got you, man. I got you all.
I was there. I'm learning.
So am I, and I'm teaching you just as I learn.
We had a brief interlude for technical difficulties, but we're back with you.
It's all good. This is natural stuff, guys. This is what we do here. Just three guys kicking
Sorry.
back doing this thing. We're doing it.
Oh,
Say
thank you,
hello to Adam.
Thank you,
Let me say
Carl.
hello to Kelly. Let's see who
There's-
else is here.
You see, Dean, dude, you didn't have to call a foreign country or anything. You got me right next to you, and I walked you right through it.
You're the
Ella.
best, Iggy. You're the best.
Tony Silo, Bella,
Wow.
a bunch of folks came in later.
Oh,
Thank you guys for coming in. Joey Pope, thank you.
This is hysterical. Oh my God. All right.
All right. So that happens. Now, the next scene goes, we're back in the grocery. And this is when Fanucci comes into the grocery with his nephew.
Okay. All right.
And this is what Tommy was talking about before. He goes up to the owner and he says, how's the business? And then he goes, it's good, it's good. And he has a discussion with him. And basically he says, you have to hire my nephew to work here. So Mr. Abundando has to tell Vito that he's out of a job because he can't afford to keep two people on. And this is where you see the connection between the owner and Vito. The guy is actually crying when he tells Vito this because he feels like he's betraying him. He raised him. He treated him as part of his family. Now he has to put him out because of his fear of Fanucci. So, and Vito understands this though. Vito says this, and then he says, I will always forget. I won't forget. I'll always remember this. I always remember what you did for me. I'll always remember what you did for me. You know, and so to your point, Tommy, he sees this is hitting him directly. He hits, they saw the behavior, the third party behavior where he was shaken down, but now it hits him directly. And as a result, he's out of a job because of it, which is going to set up things for the future for Vito. Vito understands now he's got to do what he has to do to survive. He tried to do it straight. He tried to go straight and narrow, the right thing. And it came back to hit him, to haunt him.
So that leads. So I think, as an aside, I think Vito was born with compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in his soul already.
Yeah.
And then seeing how his people were treated right in front of his eyes brought in the compassion, plus the real fire behind him to help people.
Right.
Because he saw people that could go no place. So that I think that all led to what is to come in the future.
Right.
I think he's born with compassion, though. I do think so.
Yeah.
Or he might be born with it, but he has much more compassion instilled into him when they bring him in as a family, which goes back to Godfather 1 when he brings Tom Hagen in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
See?
He did what others did for him.
Exactly.
He's basically paying back. He did the same thing that someone else did for him.
See, when you don't analyze it like this, you don't pick up on these things.
So just think, look at the first, both the Godfathers and Michaels. Their whole life, they had tragedy.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Godfather had more history and a little more. He started the damn thing too. So, I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He came.
Yeah.
See, with Michael's first hit, he kills the cop. He's got to go to Sicily.
Yeah.
The Godfather's big hit. He killed the old olive oil man, and he went to America. And, Tom Steena's crippled. He got hurt bad there, and then while he's in America, he's still taking care of business in Sicily, where Michael, once he left Sicily, that was it after Apollona, he didn't want to know nothing. So, there was different tragedies and different things there too in their lives. But
I think there's no question that Vito had a harder life than Michael, though. Michael grew up with money, because of his father's success. He grew up with money.
He started the whole thing, like I said.
Yep. Absolutely.
Michael didn't have to knock nobody off like Fanucci. Didn't have to take care of the neighborhood. Vito did,
Right.
So that's where he was all so loved and feared. Michael, at the same time, I think everybody hated him and feared him. You know what
In
I
the
mean?
beginning, at first,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Then he proved
Michael
himself.
had to
Obviously.
break into it.
Yeah.
You know, in Godfather
Yeah.
3, he became good. You know,
Just
there's
like anything else, second
Yeah.
generation, everybody,
Yeah.
all the soldiers are hesitant to take
right.
directions from that second generation boss.
You know, the old man, he built it. You know, he ruthlessly built it, but he was an icon at the end where Michael suffered. You know,
Right.
the Godfather had family. The Godfather had everything going. The Godfather had
Wow.
all of that. Michael didn't have all that at the end.
Well, and the Godfather dies a perfect death. He dies
Yeah.
in a
Dies a
garden with his
perfect death.
grandson. You know what I mean? Like, how
as
could
the
you can't?
Godfather. Yep.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better way to die. You
Yeah,
know, you
no.
die. You're in the with you. You know.
You see how
Right.
powerful this one scene is? The most
Mhm.
powerful scene in the movie,
Yep.
in the series.
Yep.
Takes us back.
Yep.
Without taking us back cinematically, if you're following from
Yeah.
scene one, it takes us all the way back. It all comes together now.
Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
just
Amazing.
little things that come together.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. So later on, Vito meets Clemenza, comes up to him in the street, and is following up on what took place there in terms of following up because he asks him, "Did you take my? You still have my bag? Did you look in it? Did you look in
Real
it?"
fast, Joey Pope makes a good point there. Back in them days, when another Goomba handed you something or something was going down, you didn't say a word. Right. Joey Pope. You were in. It was the silence, the whole thing back then.
That's an interesting observation because that's where Anthony says Anthony feels a little bit different about it than I do. But that's great. He should never have to be in that situation. I've been in those situations, right? And that's great for Anthony to think that way and me to think possibly a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were in two different aspects of life at that time. But, this is what makes this great. We got variations, and it's incredible.
So here's a shot of Clemenza coming up to Vito in the streets and asking him, "Did you look in it? Did you look in it?" So he's testing him out, right? And what is Vito's response? Vito's response is, "It's none of my business. I'm just none of my business."
Great. Look at that clip. That's a great picture right there. That's awesome.
That's birthday. Yeah. I know.
God. Clemenza was so shrewd, so smart. Wow.
I mean, now the upcoming parts just shows you how ruthless Clemenza is.
He was the best, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was ruthless, Clemenza.
How far are we going, Ant? How far? I mean,
No, I'm
But
saying.
the next scene, and basically this coming up scene is the last one. The rug theft.
Yes,
of this part, not of the movie, of this part.
Yeah, this part. Yeah, this is the last part. This is it right here with the rug, thing. That's it.
Sticks, calm down, Sticks. I mean, it's only another couple 5 minutes.
So basically, from this point, they go into a cafeteria. A cafe, and they have an espresso. And he says to him, would you like to have a rug? And Vito says, well, I don't need money for a rug. and no, it would be a present. I know how to repay a favor. You took care of my goods.
Yeah, a favor.
Oh, that was great.
Now, here's the question. Do you think Vito, at this point, knows it's something nefarious, or do you actually think Vito is actually buying it? I don't think he's buying it at this point. The present part. That it's just like,
that question. Vito already knows what he's in store for with Clemenza. You can tell on his face.
I'm going to go the opposite route altogether.
Okay.
It's just coming totally natural to them. They don't know nefarious. They don't know illegality. It's just coming so totally natural to them. This is what they know. So he trusted in him. Nefarious, I don't know, because really, this is the inception of this.
Yeah.
So maybe not. It's just coming natural to a guy in the neighborhood.
And he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
So they go to the house, right? They go to this house.
Remember, he's got no money for a rug here.
Yeah. No money for a rug.
Okay. Go ahead.
Remember, he's already been fired. He has no money at all. He didn't have the job anymore.
Right.
So they go to this house, and he goes, Minga, the house. Look at this is some palace that he lives in, right? And the best is Clemenza. This is the best part. Hey, he won't mind it. Hey, the Figlio Buttani, he forgot to, he locked it. He locked it. He won't mind. And he takes out his pick, and he automatically has a pick, and he opens the door. This is where, you see Clemenza's, Thino, to your point, Clemenza's ruthlessness. Like this is where you see how he's willing, where he's willing to go for this. So they go into the house.
His guts are right there.
Yeah,
his balls are right there, man.
He goes into the house, and they begin to take up the rug. They begin to take up the rug, and then suddenly there's a ringing on the doorbell. The doorbell rings, and oh wait! Before I do that, I want to show here. I never showed this, Mr. Fanucci. Here you go. This is a good example of Mr. Fanucci.
God! There he is. I can't take.
He thinks he's the Pope. He thinks he's the Pope with the hand.
He reminds me of someone I know on.
Hey, now you watch it. Be careful there.
Oh! Hang on.
He's crazy. I can't. Oh my God. Oh, you got me good on that one.
The Pope of YouTube, right there. There he is.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Anyway.
All right.
He has no suit on, but he's out.
Ow! Okay,
yeah.
Oh.
So here's the real picture I wanted to show you.
Where is it? I hope it's the picture I want to see.
Here we go. This is what Tina's been waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
My favorite picture.
That is crazy, man. Oh,
now Clemenza's willing to kill a police officer simply because he's discovering them.
He's
going to kill him.
Officer's head's going.
Yeah.
For that rug. Okay.
Wow. Look at that, man. Oh man, he's proven himself way early.
Just look at that stance. He knows where to put the gun. He knows how to stand. There's not going to be no splat. The cop's going to go out the door. He's going to close.
I got to tell you, look at the direction of this, the directing of this scene. Look how accurate where that gun is right now.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Perfect positioning, and the rug is right there. The rug they're stealing is right there.
Listen to me. Listen to me. His left foot is back to hold the impact from the gunshot. His right foot is up, ready to pull. My God, that is.
And then he pulls and closes the door. Ungotistigs with the left hand and push the cop out.
I can't. Wow.
Okay. Imagine being.
And now this thing right here is also it's also a very historically correct example of what went on. The police only cared about the rich. The police would go and check the houses of the rich. Right. That's what's going on here. He's doing his routine. That's his job. He walks up and down the street where the rich people live, and he checks the doors, make sure no one's breaking in, nobody's doing anything else.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. That's what they got back then.
Remember, the police made nothing, and so if a rich person says, watch my house, here's a
couple hundred,
$100,
then, right?
Hey, you got to
do a walking tour.
You got to
do a walking tour. Yeah, right.
If that cop wasn't duped, you think he would have walked up on that porch and checked all that? I don't think so.
What a scene! What a scene!
Great scene.
And even and it's funny because this is just my personal experience as a child. Like my great aunt used to live in a house on in Newark. I don't know if it was Garside Ave or so. That's the way it used to look. That's the way the house used to look. It was like an old house that used to, like ages ago, rich people lived in. But she wasn't rich. But that's the way it looked. It was just brought back this whole scene brings back so much memories from me that I saw as a kid.
Right.
In that scene, was the plastic covers over the furniture? I don't remember.
No, there weren't any plastic. No, this was before plastic. This was 1917. There was no, there was no random plastic around. So,
that came in the 30s and 40s
when they wrapped the furniture. When we used to wrap the furniture.
Yes.
All right. Wow, great scene. That's a great picture.
It is. I love that picture.
That's a great
Yeah.
picture.
So basically, Clemenza's ready to kill a police officer, and rather than get caught stealing a rug.
Yep.
So it shows you his commitment to, he's ruthless. He's going to do what he has to do. That's
100%.
No matter what.
and Vito's witnessing that, and that now Vito witnesses that. Now, what do you think Vito says? Here's my thought on this. Vito says, for number one, it shows how serious it is, how serious everything is.
Yeah.
It also shows that I think to Vito, and there's nothing in the movie that indicates this. It's just my theory. Vito seeing that he's willing to kill a police officer over the rug means that he thinks, Vito thinks that, well, Clemenza is worth being around, number one, and number two, that he thinks he can use Clemenza. I think that he sees himself, because I don't think Vito would do something like that, because Vito is thinking too much, like that's an emotional response. Who knows if you kill that police officer, what's going to happen as a result of that? There could have been so much more that happens as a result of that.
I'll tell you right now,
Go ahead.
Dean would have been like this with Clemenza immediately. I would have said the same thing. This guy's an all-out killer. He'll kill anything. He'll do anything. Let's do this.
At that moment, he seals.
Yep.
He seals it for the future for himself. He seals it right there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Clemenza's now got a partner for life with that move. He didn't know that, but
right,
100%.
And I couldn't find a picture of this, but I love the scene where they're bringing the rug back into the tenement house. It's like they're walking with it on their shoulders.
No cameras, no car. Just two guys walked off with your rug out of your house. No one will ever see him again.
Okay.
Right up the stairs.
And everybody's like hanging out on the stoop, looking at it.
Nobody's saying anything.
Go right up into the tenement house.
Nobody's saying a word.
Nobody says anything.
We found it.
And then basically the scene ends with the rug is out, and they put Santino on the rug, and he's like, and Clemenza's playing with Santino.
And you got to remember, you know how much that rug was back then?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
that was an Oriental rug, right? So that must have been super rich people had that.
Yeah,
who else
right from the Orient.
Yeah.
You didn't make them kind of rugs here back then.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The music was classic.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It definitely was perfect. Yes, it was.
Oh.
Yep. It was great.
So that's basically it, because the next scene, that ends, and then the next scene goes back to the present at the time, and what we'll talk about that next time. But that's what Michael, just to tell you what's happening there. Michael's scene is Michael's on the train going to see Roth. He's going to Miami, and he's going to see Roth.
They go back to
and he has his zip bodyguard with him. That's the first time we see him. That's the first time we see him.
Yeah. I love that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's my favorite right there.
Mm-hmm.
They go back to that.
Yep.
It's a lot to follow.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said this before, the way they switch is perfect. The way they switch back. It's a perfect ending to that scene. And then they're back to the present. And then it fades out to go back to the 1920s. It's perfect how it's done. The whole cinematic scope of it is perfect.
Yeah, you're right, ALV.
So it's so interesting. It really is. The way they do it. What a masterpiece. We're done with that scene right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because these scenes are a little harder to break apart than Godfather 1.
Yeah.
Because quite honestly, we could stay on for 3 hours and do a whole movie analysis. Because this one flows into each other. We don't want to do that. We want to do this every week. We're enjoying doing this. But think about it. We can go into all the way 3, the way Dinda was saying. We can go all the way to 3. But we're not going to, but you can in one sitting.
Right.
Yeah, we can.
You can. Yeah. It's interesting.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. And one thing was when Abundando tells Vito he's out of a job, he runs after him. He runs after him to try to give him groceries. And Vito says, no, I can't take it. So there's the honor. That's like the honor of the Godfather we've always talked about, like the personal honor of him. He would not take it, even though he's facing a situation where
Too
his
much
family
pride.
could be starving. His
Too
family
much
could be
pride.
starving.
Too much pride.
But does Vito tell his wife? Vito doesn't even tell his wife. Vito comes home with a pear and puts a pear on the table as a gift.
That's my favorite part in the world. Me and my wife's favorite part of the movie is when he brings that friggin' pear home, puts it on. I never seen and I love it. Find me a lady that'll fall in love with a pear when you bring it home.
Hold on. Before I lose this thought, guys, 1 minute.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When he refuses the food, he knows already that he's probably being extorted.
Yes.
And he knows the struggle he had to feed.
He was extorted. He lost his job.
Feed. He knows already the sacrifice that man made to feed his mouth through those years. So there's the compassion and the respect and the appreciation which molds him into Don Vito.
Loyalty and pride. Loyalty and pride also.
He knew it would be a struggle if he took that bag of groceries from him.
Even though it would have made the grocer feel better, it would have made him feel a little better if he gave him the groceries. You know, it made him feel better. At least I gave this kid something to go with his family. But the Vito says no, because you need it. You need to survive. You now have to pay. God knows what you have to pay him, because Fanucci says you have to hire him. He may have said you have to pay him a certain amount of money too.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly. So he's extorting him 2 ways.
In the bag, Vito keeps the edge. It keeps that edge of being hungry and everything else. That ruthless. It's all that.
See, you got to remember, Vito's the survivor.
That's what
he was going to figure out a way.
Bag of groceries.
Yep.
He would have figured out a way, and obviously, as we go forward, we know.
Let's get back to the pear.
Yes.
She puts the pear. She puts the pear and wraps it. Puts the pear. Oh, Vito, such a beautiful pear.
Such a beautiful pear. Yes, that's what she
Are
says.
you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? A pear, a piece of fruit.
Think about it. The simplistic nature of these people. Yet they could appreciate beauty in a specific piece of fruit. They had nothing. They had nothing.
Yeah. Imagine if we did that.
Yeah.
You tell me to stick that pear up my ass. Oh. What are you doing with that rotten pear? Good, stick it up your nose. I'm done.
You know, we just got our first clip from this right here. That's our first clip right there.
No, you said bullshit.
Did I say that?
No, he did. Anthony did.
Oh, Anthony.
No. I meant like that'll be our first short. Oh no, I said it. Yeah, I said it earlier. But I mean, but that's our first short from the that we can put up there.
Yeah, stick it up your nose, that pear. That's what she would have told me.
Oh man, I can't.
I wonder why I love that part so much.
It's a great part. It is a great part, though, because it shows the humble beginnings.
You know, and I just got done talking about my Nana. That's what Nana would have did.
Yeah, right.
My Nana would have. Oh, Beto, what a beautiful.
Here's an interesting comment by Downneck. What do you think about this, guys? He says, if the gangsters today were like Vito, the mafia would still be big.
Well,
I don't think the gangsters were ever like Vito. I think we've talked about this. I think he is an imaginary figure. He's the perfect figure.
Yeah.
You know, like
they made him out to be Downneck. They made him out to be perfect.
You got to remember, Downneck. Don't forget about the video, audio, security cameras. It's 2023. I don't know about anything nowadays, Downneck.
You might have one guy that was close to it, and that's a Jersey guy. Richie the Boot, possibly, but other than that, because Richie the Boot came here, they sent him here as an orphan. Richie had no parents in this country, and he was in a orphanage in Italy, so he came here with no place to go. So Richie the Boot Biardo, maybe Downneck from our area, maybe the closest thing to Vito, but other than that, no, I don't see any of it. I don't think so anyway.
I mean, I don't, and I just brought that up because I think that's important that Vito. Right. I think Vito, and again, like we said this from the first time we started this, Vito wasn't there to glorify crime. Vito was there to glorify culture and the survival of the culture, his honor and that's what that was all about. That character is all about
Look
that.
at
And
Silo's
Sticks,
comment.
we had a guy like that too in the Falls, by the way.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know.
sure there's a few. I'm sure there's a
Yeah,
few.
yeah, I know. I'm just bringing it on. I'm just talking.
Look at Silo's comment right there. That's a good comment.
Where?
Yep, that's true. That came
yeah,
through.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
We've been
yes.
saying that.
Yep.
Great comments, guys.
You
Awesome.
could hear a snake fart in Egypt with the
Yeah.
technology they have now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And then
Mangiati.
the RICO statutes make it
Well,
the deck is stacked against
to me.
anything like this.
you
Listen,
can't even jaywalk.
ALV, you could give me $1 billion, a mansion, a yacht, a couple mansions. You give me limos. You could give me a crew of 200 guys. You could give me the best of everything, and I would say,
Nope.
You
Yeah.
know why?
Yep.
I'm going to tell you all right now. 2023 video camera and rats.
It's over.
Now you're going right down the toilet, no matter
Done.
what. You'll be ratted out until death. If you haven't learned anything in this lifetime, shame on you.
Yeah.
I will live in a tenement first.
Oh, I pick up bottles.
That's
I
it,
pick
man.
up bottles. Did you hear me?
I heard you.
We heard that at the beginning. You're ready to
We
pick
heard
up-
that
you're
before
ready
we
to
went
pick up
live.
bottles
Yes,
now.
we heard.
Okay, I pick up bottles. Okay,
The bottles are in the trunk.
they're in the car now. They'd be gone by now. You.
Before the guard get turns in, we got to empty the bottles out Monday.
There's no shame to my game. Okay?
No shame. Nope.
No. Oh. Go ahead, Sticks. Tell them.
Yeah. So
This was awesome.
yeah. So this was I think this was very good. This was this particular snippet of the movie has so many kickbacks to the original movie, to the first movie. It has it to your point, Tommy. It connects it all. The backstory, everything harkens back, and you see the cycle. Vito coming, Vito doing the same thing that happened to him. It's and in order to do that, you have to really look at it and think about it. You can't just blow through it. You have to really do what we're doing, is break it down. And
So I really think that this scene almost sets up all three movies. It really does. That one scene.
Yeah, it's origin. It's the origin. It explains so many things. So it explains why so many things happen. Hi, Crazy. Thank you for joining.
Kirby lady.
That's right. You could say it, Dino. You could say it 12 times, whatever you do with it.
Crazy purple Kirby lady, crazy purple Kirby lady, crazy purple Kirby lady, crazy purple Kirby lady, crazy purple Kirby lady. Shit stir. What are you doing?
Oh boy. Well, anyway, that's it for today, guys. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for participating. It was great. We had a lot of deep conversations, which is awesome. And hit the like button if you want. See if that does anything for us. Who knows? It might, it may not. Who cares? But the most important part is that you come back and continue to join us as we continue to do this. So next time we'll be going to do modern time of the movie. At the time it's set back into 1950s when Michael goes to see Roth. So that'll be our next discussion.
Excellent.
So as always, have a great Sunday and a great week. Thank you so much. Tune in tomorrow morning for Stiggs, Dino in the afternoon. Keep us going. We take care of our own here.
I might be on tonight.
Oh, you're gonna be on tonight? Then check it out. Look for it.
Working on it. We'll see.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody. God bless. Have a great week.
Stay on, Dean. Stay on.
Yep.